Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Goonies World. I am Johnny Pharaoh, sometimes known as Sean. And with me, as always, is Meanie, sometimes known as Ryan.
Bonjour.
And, of course, also we have Goonie, sometimes called Colin.
Hello, Governor.
And as you can tell, perhaps, we are back with our Risus-flavored Pendragon adventure. We were going to play Pendragon. We decided it was a little too much game for us, so we wanted to play Risus. So we're playing Risus in Arthurian Britain. And in our last adventure, King Arthur made you two, Lancelot and Mador, swear. I think you're calling him Mador, right? It's not like Mador, but anyway. Mador.
It's more French sound, by the way.
Yes, Mador de la Porte. King Arthur made you guys swear an oath of friendship and quest to destroy the Avanc, a terrible monster that had eaten many villagers in Uffington. And on the way, you defeated the Black Velvet Knight and mercilessly slaughtered his followers, his minions. You also met the painfully naive Maiden of the Woods, and when you learned that a virgin's song could lull the Avanc to sleep, you convinced the maiden to sing to it. But she apparently was not a virgin because there were disastrous and, in her case, fatal results. And so the people of Uffington have suggested that the only person they could think of who would know a virgin in this day and age, you'd know where to find one in these times, would be Merlin, the famous Merlin, who King Arthur had told you he hadn't seen in 6 months. He comes and goes as he pleases, but his cave happens to be just on the other side of the big White Horse Hill where Uffington was. Now, it's still dead of night. You still just had this experience with the Avanc where it has eaten the Maiden of the Woods and gone back into the lake. And I believe when we stopped, you guys were going to go look for Merlin, who apparently his caves are right on the other side of the White Horse Hill. Do you want to do that tonight, or do you want to wait for morning?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't see why we need to rush off there tonight. Unless we kind of are in a hurry, I guess, if there's people being menaced and eaten and all that. We might want to hurry.
But it could be that the Avanc is sated for now. It's not hungry no more. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But I don't know how tired you are. But it don't matter to me. We can try to get some rest first, or we can try to find Merlin now. What approximately time is it?
Well, the moon's very high in the sky, and you feel it's at least got to be approaching midnight by this time. Because you guys hung out in the tavern while Lancelot got his drunk on for quite a while before you ever went out to look for the Avanc.
I think we can wait till morning.
Well, if you guys want to stay there, John Tanner is happy to put you up in his hayloft. It's not luxurious, but after a good night's sleep here in this village where everyone is named John, John Tanner seemed to be the most level-headed one. And he put you up in his hayloft for the night, but early the next morning, you may continue your quest. Of course, your horses have been taken care of in the night. The Black Velvet Knight's horse ran off, terrified, after the Maiden of the Woods was eaten off of his back. But you still got your original mounts. And supposedly, like I say, Merlin's cave's right on the other side of White Horse Hill. And climbing up and over it is no great feat. It's not a huge mountain. It's a broad sloping hill, but it can be seen for miles and miles around. And lo and behold, on the other side, and there's a little bit of a brook coming down out of a natural spring, and it bubbles down past a cave mouth. It's no great secret that it's there because there's actually smoke coming out of it. Just kind of rolling down the hillside, following the creek, down to a little lake on the other side of the great hill. You're somewhat north of Uffington about this time. And how would you guys like to... You think that must be Merlin's cave. Nothing says Merlin's cave like this thing. And how would you like to approach it? Do you want to go in and look for him? Or do you want to holler at him from outside? However you'd like to do it. But you know what? I was going to ask you, and I almost forgot. In Risus, your character is defined by cliches, which you kind of come up with yourself. You know, you don't really have traditional stats like strength, dexterity, that kind of thing. And these guys came up with their own cliches, and this is what they roll against, you know, a certain number of dice when they do things. So, Lancelot, can you remind us of what cliches that you chose so we can see what sort of things Lancelot's good at?
I am a knight, of course. So, you know, that includes riding, lancing, sword swinging, heraldry, and being chased. I basically just took that. That was one of the examples in the book, and then I am also a hooligan, which includes brawling, drinking, headbutting, and swearing, and then actually I have the most points in hooligan, more than knight.
Well, this certainly fits your character as I know.
Yeah. The least amount of points I have, but I just, wanted to include it, is a whoremonger, which the only descriptions I could think of were rough fucking and price negotiating.
All right, and Mador Delaporte, how about, what are his cliches, Ryan?
Well, I also took knight, for using knightly weapons and riding around on a horse and doing all that. In addition, he is absurdly big and strong, which, facilitates intimidating basically anything, destroying stuff by accident, and asking, anybody want a peanut? And he's also too smart, which is good for knowing obscure trivia, occasionally outsmarting people, but too often overthinking things. And last but not least, he is overconfident and mistakenly assumes that, and this is really more than a game mechanic thing, it was more of just a personality thing. But that causes him to mistakenly assume that being absurdly big and strong and too smart will always cause him to be victorious.
Yes, no matter what. Well, you know what? Outside of the Avanc, so far he's been victorious. He defeated the Black Velvet Knight, and anyway, so now that we've got that out of the way, I wanted our listeners to see what kind of stats we're kind of working with here. But how do you guys go into the cave? Or do you?
I'm going to shout, "Oi, Merlin! You fucking twat!"
Twat, 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 twat. And it all like echoes down the little valley. And
where the fuck are you, fucking old fucking cunt?
Good. Whoa. Yeah, I'd love to say like a lightning bolt like blasts out of the cave and fries you, but it doesn't. Suddenly you look up, and coming out of the smoke into the cave, squinting his eyes against the light, you see Merlin. Wizened old guy, but his beard actually still has a lot of brown in it. It's not perfectly white. He's wearing a black druidic style robes, and he has a black skull cap, and he looks the skull cap. The skull cap. If we have any listeners who get that reference, tell us, because they would just please us to no end. And anyway, Merlin, from under his skull cap, said, "Oh, it's you." Looking with distaste at Lancelot specifically.
Were you having a wank or something?
I don't have wanks.
You're not a fucking wanker, you say. All up here by yourself.
I am consulting with the dragon.
That's what you call it.
I do not wish to see you ever again. It's because of you I left Camelot. I could not warn my sweet Arthur against your betrayal.
She wanted it, me. She was fucking ready to fucking go.
I warned
Is that
him.
what you're talking about?
I warned him when he met her. I remembered that you would do this. What is that, Mador, you Frenchman?
Well, I was going to say that, of course, j'accuse the slut queen and fight for her to defend Arthur's honor, but some stupid fucking anonymous knight fucking somehow managed to defeat me, and I don't know why I'm losing my accent.
The accents come and go here, this cave. It is a nexus of many realities. I appreciate that you fought for Arthur's honor, you who are not even his friend. But a man may do many strange things for love of a woman. Now, what is it you want here, Lancelot?
Well, some guy, what was his fucking name? Some fucking cunt in some fucking town. He told us, you might know how to find a virgin.
And not for the reason you probably think.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's why you came here. I almost forgot. You were looking for the virgin. Now, let me see. Where did you find the virgin? Let me think. I must remember. Where did you find
I haven't found a virgin
I
yet.
told you to go somewhere to see the Ah, yes. I remember now. I might not have told you, because I'm tired of dealing with boorish knights, too big for their own good. Not a whit of intellect amongst the lot of the entire round table. No, I'm tired of aiding knights who solve every problem with the sword. I would never reveal where to find a virgin unless you could answer 3 riddles. And I know with your meager intellect, you would never guess my riddles.
Bring it on, old man.
Oh, yes? Do you fancy yourself a riddler?
I know the riddles like nobody's business.
Ah, well, let me tell you this. The game of riddles is ancient and requires ritual. You must come into the cave. This way. This way. And he almost seems like he's just gliding back, like he's not even walking. You know, his robes are not even rustling. And he gives you a dramatic beckoning finger.
No, this is the first riddle. We must refuse to go into the cave.
We haven't started yet. He echoes from in the cave.
Oh, damn. I thought maybe that was part of the riddles, but I guess not. I guess we should go in.
Well, you guys make your way into smoky darkness, and pretty soon there's some red flickering firelight from inside, and there's a kettle in there, a cauldron really, you know, he's cooking something in. There's some foul smells. There's weird things all over the walls. There's a great big octagonal red shield that says Stopp in German on it, and some other strange things hanging on his walls. But he sits you down, and he closes his eyes. You're all sitting around the fire. And he says, "Here is the first riddle that you must solve before I will tell you where I told you to find the virgin. A small miracle hangs near man's thigh, full under folds. It is stiff and strong, bold and brassy, and pierced in front. When a young lord lifts his tunic over his knees, he wants to greet with the hard head of this hanging creature the hole he wants to fill."
There's no way that's not dick or balls.
I don't think so. Could you repeat, please? I want to concentrate on your words.
A small miracle hangs near a man's thigh, full under folds. It is stiff, strong, bold, brassy, and pierced in front. When a young lord lifts his tunic over his knees, he wants to greet with the hard head of this hanging creature the hole he wants to fill.
It does sound like a dick, but I don't think so. This sorcier will not be able to trick me. Let me think.
I think it's a fucking key. Is it not a key?
No, not final answer. Not final answer.
That's good, because I was just about to say, is that your final answer?
No, it's not. I do not think it is a key, Monsieur de l'Arc Chevalier. But it might be. I'm not
Is that
sure.
your final answer?
You said you're big and brassy.
I have repeated it twice.
Anglais is not my first language, Monsieur. You said big and brassy and underfolds?
Full underfolds.
Full underfolds. What does that mean?
I'm not going to tell you what the words of all these ancient riddles mean.
What's
These
the
came
answer?
down from my forefathers.
Full underfolds. Full underfolds. Full underfolds.
Stop saying it's not gonna make any sense.
It already doesn't make sense. That's why I keep trying to say it out loud to try to figure out what it means.
Obviously, you think you have a staggering intellect. You're thinking about this very deeply.
Full underfolds and brassy. And it goes in a hole. Fuck it. Key.
Wrong! The answer is penis.
I said that.
You did not agree it was a final answer.
I thought it was too easy. Of course it was a dick.
Perhaps you're overthinking things. But who am I kidding? You've never overthought a thing in your life, Lance. But this Mador de la Porte seems to have slightly higher intellect. Well, let me give you a hard one then. I heard of something rising in a corner, swelling and standing up, lifting its cover. The proud-hearted bride grabbed at that boneless wonder with her hands, and the prince's daughter covered that swelling thing with her mouth.
Well, that's got to be a dick. I mean,
Is that your final answer?
you only have riddles about dicks?
Is that your final answer?
But wait, you said in the corner. Why would dick be in the corner?
You should know, from what I understand, you're the expert on thinking and using your... thinking with and using your...
See, the first one...
John Thomas?
First one was a trick. Right, it was too easy. We thought it was going to be something else, and then it turned out to be exactly what we thought it was. Now we're going to say dick again, and it's going to be not a dick. Okay, repeat it one more time.
I heard of something rising in a corner, swelling and standing up, lifting its cover. The proud-hearted bride grabbed at that boneless wonder with her hands, and the prince's daughter covered that swelling thing with her mouth. Do you give up? Do you give up on my challenge?
I'm going to go with prick.
I will accept the answer. The answer is penis. I will now give you the third riddle. I am the hard punch and pull power, boldly thrusting out and keen coming in. Serving my lord, I burrow beneath a belly, tunneling a tight road. Sometimes my lord bids me into a hot hole. Sometimes he shows me down the snug road. That thrust urges me on. Say who I am.
Heisenberg. I think it's a dick again, Lancelot.
It can't be a dick this time. This time it's a trick for sure.
Well, it is either a trick or a dick. Or a tricky dick.
Well, could be a dildo. Doesn't have to be a real penis. See, I'm thinking now.
I don't know where you'd get a dildo in the Dark Ages.
Well, I bet Merlin could whittle up a dildo.
I think the answer is the one-eyed trouser snake.
I would accept the answer. The answer is penis. Well, you're proving yourselves men of great intellect. I am impressed.
I'm shocked.
Now, I almost forgot. Why did you come here again? Oh, yes. I had told you where the Virgin was. That's right. Yes, I remember now. You must go to the kingdom of Dumnonia. Dumnonia far to the west. It will be many days' journey, but there the princess of Dumnonia is the most virtuous lady in all of Britain. And she is a virgin, textbook pure.
Well, how do you know this?
Oh, I am Merlin. I know many things. Plus, I remember that's where I sent you. And I remember that, you get the Virgin, but that's just after you tangle with the giant. But I don't want to tell you too much of your own futures. I would be willing to do one thing for you, however. I believe, if memory serves, I conjured up the breath of the dragon to transport you to the kingdom of Dumnonia quickly. Would you like such a favor from old Merlin?
Well, it seems like it would make everything go a bit faster.
Yes. In the twinkling of an eye, you will be in the kingdom of Dumnonia.
Is it hot?
In Dumnonia? Oh, no.
No, the breath... You say the breath of a dragon?
I am speaking metaphorically, Lancelot. I'm sure that the well-educated Mador de la Porte understood. We don't literally mean the breath of a dragon. The breath of the dragon is the ancient power of the druids that I can invoke at my pleasure.
Yeah, as long as it's not hot, I think you can send us that way.
Very well. And don't worry, I think that you did end up returning.
Oh.
Well, I hope your memory's correct.
That's good anyway.
Oh, yes. Of course, I didn't help you at all. Very well. Are you ready? You must mount your horses if you wish to take them with you. Let us go to the entrance of the cave. All right, very well, here we are. And he waves his arms and begins waving his hands. And he says, "From the land beyond, beyond, from the place neither there nor here, I bid these knights get the hell out of here!" And he waves his hands at you.
You're going... Goodbye.
Anyway, there's this mist and a swirling sound of harps. And then you find yourselves in this land of green hills. The sun is shining. The hills are spilling down into the sea down below. And there are these hills are great big conical hills, with their tops covered in clouds. There's this smashed tower nearby. It's a great big old castle keep. Its stones are just like scattered across about 2 leagues of land. and in the distance there's a couple of smashed villages, and there's great big footprints just pressed into the, so you can see from a distance, depressed down in the grass like crop circles almost, and that's what you see here on this hillside that Merlin has wizarded you to in the what must be the kingdom of Dumnonia.
Chevalier de la Cour, do you know where this Dumnonia is?
I never heard of this place before in my life.
Well, you're too smart, so why don't you roll to see if you know where it is? And I think that that would be easy. Roll, Mador. You only would need to get a 5.
All right. Well, I roll my 2 dice and get a 9.
Well, yes, it is in the far southwest of Britain, in what today you might think of as Cornwall.
Cornwall. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the far southwest little strip.
Yeah, and once upon a time, it was Dumnonia.
It will always be Cornwall to me. Well, it appears that the giant is stomping around.
It sure looks that way.
Yeah. Well, Merlin said something about this fucking giant stopping about. I bet we should try to stay low in case in case we come across one. Just try to keep a low profile.
And just as you finish saying that, Mador de la Porte hops off his horse and screams, "Putain de giant stupide!"
What were you saying?
I said, "Hey, you stupid giant."
Why have you fucking done this? You've gonna fucking kill us all now.
Well, of course, your voice echoed, throughout the land, but you don't hear any thundering approach of a giant. And I don't know if you're sure where to find a princess in all this place.
I think I can take out a giant, but I'm worried about someone like yourself. Have you had any experience fighting a giant before?
Well, no, but I want my first chance, you see.
Of course, this giant would be pretty easy to find if you really wanted to, because you could follow these gigantic footprints.
Yeah. Oh, well, I say we try to avoid a giant, but let's try to see if we could find this princess. Was it? Was she princess?
Yeah, the
or
princess.
Queen? Oh.
The princess of Dumnonia. Yeah, the most virtuous lady in all of Britain. Definitely a virgin.
See, the problem is, if she's a virgin, and we try to take her back with us, who knows how long she's gonna be a virgin? She's gonna be traveling with me. And, I don't know if either one of us are gonna be able to help ourselves.
Well, I am quite sure that I will not have a problem restraining myself. I don't know about you, though. You do like to lance a lot.
That's right. So I think we better get like a whole entourage of whores with us, so I'm not tempted.
Yes, the good old Dumnonian horse. I'm sure we can get an entire entourage, no problem.
Yeah, every place has got horse.
Well, maybe you'll find some of these smashed villages. That's what you can see throughout the landscape. As far as you can see, there's a few smashed villages and this big tower that's been knocked down. It was obviously, a pretty important keep at one point. Maybe that's where the king lived. I don't know. There could be some sign of a princess in that smashed tower, or amongst, if there's anybody left in any of these villages.
Monsieur, I have a suspicion that the giant has kidnapped the princess we seek.
Yeah, that could be.
So, I propose that we go through the villages and rounding up all the whores, and then we go find the giant and rescue the princess. Although, we might also check the tower. Perhaps he just smashed it down, but did not take the princess. But that seems unlikely to me.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go see if we can see anyone that's alive in these smashed houses and see if there's any slags or anything.
Okay, well, you guys spur your horses down into the valley down below. And as you ride past the first village, if there is any survivors, they've left. There's some smashed cows. At first, you're not even sure what the heck it was, but you see a smashed cow like somebody just stomped on it, and kicked over the simple village buildings, and people must have fled. And further on, though, is where you start to see the first of these great big stones that were once part of the tower, and you can kind of tell the scatter pattern. It just looked like the giant might have just backhanded this tower, and spread its stones all over the countryside. But you can tell where the base of it was still. It's about a story and a half ragged tower on top of a hill in the distance. And as you get closer, you can hear weeping. You hear the sound of a woman's voice crying. And following that voice, you come up to the other side, and within a big shadow of some tumbled rocks, there's an old woman in a dirty blue dress, and she's just dug a grave by herself. She looks up startled as she sees you and picks up the shovel and backs up against the wall as she's holding the shovel out menacingly at you. "Don't you come a step nearer, you wicked robber knights! You've come here to prey upon us in our weakness, I know."
Just for you prostitutes.
Well, you're out of luck. I'm not a prostitute.
Well, I know that, or I'd hope so, but, is there any of them left?
Everyone has fled to the coast. Only I am left here, the Queen of Dumnonia, and I have been forced to bury my good lord husband, the King of Dumnonia, here, and now I am left alone. So do your worst, you robber knights. There's no more justice in the land ever since that bloody Lancelot cast a terrible wound in the heart of our king. Oh, we've heard of these things here, and now these wicked robber knights are running around because the Knights of the Round Table are known to have no integrity anymore, all because of that damned Lancelot.
Yeah, he's a real shithead.
You talking shite.
Oh, I don't talk shite. I'm a queen. I talk manure.
You don't look like a queen to me.
Well, I've just buried my husband. Excuse me.
Where's your daughter at?
She's been taken. That terrible giant fell in love with her when he saw her, and he picked her up and he carried her away.
Yeah, you were right, Mador. He took her. Well, see, you was wrong about us. We are virtuous knights, and we're going to...
One of us is.
Well, in this case, I think I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to find your daughter. Is the rumors true about her? She's never, been intimate.
Of course not.
Never taken in any hole at all.
How dare you speak this way to me? Of course not.
Still
You do not
counts.
sound like the noble knight you profess to be, sir. What is your name, anyway?
Oh, I'll give you one guess.
Oh, no. You're not.
That's
Oh,
right.
We're doomed.
Top knight of Camelot.
We're doomed.
I had this fucking image in my head of us, like these three characters, like busting out into song. Oh no, you're not that fucking bastard Lancelot.
Yes, there we go.
Oh yes, I am.
Yeah, one of these days, we'll have to just do a completely musical version.
Oh, God.
Of our
would
games.
be pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be pretty funny. Where you have to sing everything. But no, she falls to her knees weeping. And she's, we're doomed. We're doomed.
I was actually going to try to help. You see, there's a monster on this other town that we came by. King Arthur actually sent us on a mission to stop this monster, and we have to put it to sleep or something like that. Sing it to sleep. A virgin does. And
Well, my good daughter's definitely that. But listen, Lancelot, perhaps it's not true what they say about you. Perhaps you don't lance a lot. Perhaps you haven't lanced your way through Camelot.
well, that part's true.
Well, you could redeem yourself in the eyes of this queen. Please, rescue my daughter, and you may take her to sing to whatever monsters you like, for I guarantee her maidenhead.
Wait, what?
Well, me?
She is a virgin. I'm speaking archaically.
Oh, I thought you said something about it.
I am a queen.
I thought you was offering me the chance to deflower her.
Absolutely not.
Well,
Even if we return her back, I still don't get to shag her.
I will throw my daughter and myself upon the mercy of good King Arthur. These lands of Dumnonia are no more. They're fading into the past. If you will rescue my daughter and take us with you to Camelot, I will support whatever marriage for my good daughter the king in his good wisdom proposes.
well, I don't mean to be alarmist, but if we want her to still be pure when we arrive back at Uffington, perhaps we should get a move on, as you say.
Yes, I agree.
Because that giant, if what they say about giants is true, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you mustn't say such things or think them. I will gather off your remaining things. I will see if one of the ponies is still alive, and please save my daughter. You will have my gratitude, whatever else. And I will change my low opinion of you.
All right. Yeah, we'll be off. And don't you worry. We'll find your daughter.
Thank you. Well, can I assume you would then start following the huge footprints? Because that seems like a pretty obvious way to go.
It does indeed.
Yeah. It's hard to miss, trail of giant footprints. But I talked about these big conical mountains, it eventually, you see just the toes of these footprints just starting to go up a slope and almost climb up this quite conical mountain. Your horses are able to get up it, but you have to zigzag back and forth. And at the very, very end, though, it's too steep even for your horses, and you're climbing into some mists. You're going to have to, get off and tether them here and climb up the rest of the way into this mist. And you can't even see very far, but you do come up to a flat top. I mean, you can only see, each other. You can't see but 6 feet beyond your face. When you look down, it's hard to even see your feet. But you have reached a flat top that doesn't look a lot like the conical summit you're expecting. And as you walk, you realize your feet are echoing on marble. And the mist slowly dissipates. And this great hall opens up before you. You're not on a mountaintop at all. You're in this huge, oversized hall. It's got to be 100 times the size of the hall of the round table that you're used to. And there are gigantic columns lining the hall. And at the end, there are huge doors, double doors that are open. And beyond that is this giant furnace with this roaring red fire, and there's a huge poker in there. You know, it's the size of a ship's mast to you. I mean, it's immense. And leaning in the fire. But it's not readily apparent because it's up high above you, but looking around this room, and as your eyes gaze up the columns, you see there's a cage hanging about 60 feet off the floor, sort of lightly swinging back and forth, and you hear muffled female tears coming from that cage.
I did not think the giant was going to be so large.
Well, they weren't exaggerating.
Well, I don't think we have to worry about him deflowering the princess, because he would just literally kill her.
That's right, unless, you know, I had some other way, like, using a finger or something, but even then...
Don't even say, I don't want to imagine that's in my fucking brain.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't want to imagine that either, so maybe we should try to rescue this princess.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think we can fight this thing at all. We would just stomp on us like bugs.
I agree. I don't think even I could handle a giant this size.
Suddenly, a shadow passes the door. A huge shadow. You know, the light from that roaring furnace in the next room is obscured for a minute. And then gone, as if somebody just passed by the doorway. A huge somebody. Hadn't looked out, didn't come out here. But you did hear doom, 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 boom, 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 boom. And then you hear... Again, you can still hear this woman sobbing from the cage up 60 feet above your head or so. There's a sniffing.
Oh no, he smells us. We need to get her and get out. Get her and get out. How do I get up there?
Is there... after we look around, is there a way that we think that we could scale up to that cage?
Well, what you probably have to do is to climb up, not the columns, but like the walls themselves, and then go hand over hand somehow on the ceiling. It seems like it'd be almost impossible. But when you follow the chain of the cage itself, you know, that it's hooked to the ceiling with, that chain is running along the ceiling through big eye hooks all the way over into a hole in the wall that leads into the room where the big furnace and giant poker, and apparently giant, might be. Is that there may be a way to, you know, release the chain and lower, but you'd have to go into that next room. Luckily, though, you've been very quiet so far. But every now and then you hear that big sniff echoing out from the furnace room.
Alright, maybe we could try to peek in that room, see if we can find like a mechanism that lowers the cage.
Okay, I suppose I will try to sneak over there and scope out the next room. While I do that, do you want to see if you can climb up and over to the cage, or you just want to you want to do something else?
Well, look awfully high up, but yeah, maybe if I can just grab onto those chains, I might be able to kind of make my way.
Yeah,
across.
I can see hand over handing along the chain. Yeah.
Whatever you do, do not shag her.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
Well, if you want to start walking, there'll be a long walk to sneak over there to that room, so you can get started on that. Meanwhile, Lance, if you want to try to climb the wall to get it to where that chain is, I'd say this is a fairly swashbuckling thing to do. But I'd say, so night, I believe, is the appropriate. But I think it's also a fairly challenging thing to do, which would require a 10.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I rolled, let's see here, 23.
Well, 23, that is up over, that is in ridiculous territory. So you vault up there, and you feel extremely confident, because, wow, that climb was easy. And you get to the top, and you can see the chain. You're right by the hole that leads into the next room. And you can look down below you, and you see Mador. He's below. He's about to sneak into the room itself. And go ahead and start moving hand over hand along that chain, Lance. And go ahead and use night again. But this is a little different. You know, this is a lot longer, and you're supporting your own weight just on your wrists, and you're wearing heavy armor. I'm afraid this is a job of heroic proportions. And as we know in Risus, that requires a 15.
Okay.
And before you roll, I would like to switch back down to Mador real quick. And Mador, you're at the edge of the room. And again, you can hear and you peek in. And so, yeah, you can see this big furnace. You know what he's making in there. But again, that great big giant poker, it would take like 2 normal people to even lift it, you know. And it's heating up in the furnace for whatever reason. But the first thing you see and notice and smell immediately to your left inside the door is a gigantic ass crack, because a huge giant is sitting, you know, crisscross applesauce on the floor, messing with something. You can't see what, because you're just looking at his gigantic backside and his back, and he's you hear him like slapping, like he's making something with clay maybe, or what. You're not sure what he's doing, but he hasn't quite noticed you yet. You would have time to get in there and do something while Lancelot was crossing the chain, which is why I wanted to cut to you first.
Well, first of all, I'm going to look up and see where the chain goes.
All right, that's a good thought. The chain goes over to the edge of the wall on the other side of the furnace, where you kind of have to go back in the shadow behind the furnace. That would put you about where the handle of that great big poker is. And presumably there's a latch or wheel or something. You just can't see it. You'd have to go over there and look into the shadow behind the furnace.
Well, seeing as the giant is facing away from me, I feel fairly comfortable sneaking into the room and trying to stay in the shadows and getting around behind that furnace.
Yeah, and I'd say that's a night thing. And I would say normally that'd be easy if you weren't wearing, you know, pretty heavy armor. And so let's call this a challenging roll to sneak over there. So if you need a 10 for this.
Okay. Oh, damn. I got a 10. Like, exactly. On those.
And the giant looks like he thinks he noticed something for a second, and then shakes his head and goes back to whatever he's doing. You reach behind, you look behind there, and the chain is actually wrapped around a stud that comes out of the wall. That's actually like a support for the buttresses of the outside of a building. That you'd have to unravel a chain, you know, for a good couple turns, and it'd be something you want to do very quietly. It would definitely make some noise. But you think you just unravel that, and the chain lowers.
How high up is the chain? Is the stud?
The chain is wrapped around the stud. So you unwrap it from...
How high up off the floor is it?
It's well, you can reach it. It's a little tippy toe action there, but
okay.
It's like the lower support of a buttress, so it's fairly close to the ground.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be more fun, not to interrupt you, I think it'd be more fun if we went back over to Lancelot real quick before we start having you mess with the chain. We know Lancelot is climbing out onto it. So, Lance, go ahead and make a heroic roll to hand over hand this chain. And you realize now that the princess is seeing you because she's standing up in the cage, looking at you expectantly out of the bars. Up through the bars. She got her hands on the bars in the classic jailhouse pose, right?
Mm-hmm. She hot?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, beautiful emerald green dress, long flowing hair.
Oh, my God. I only got a 14.
Oh, well. You get about halfway out across. And then inside, meanwhile, were you going to start unrolling that chain? Or?
Yeah, quietly kind of just unwrapping it.
Yeah, I think these things kind of starting to happen at the same time. It's a hard thing to do, to unwrap a chain quietly while you're on tippy toe. And I do think this deserves a challenging roll. You can use Too Smart if you like, if you think that would be appropriate, because you could try to do it wisely. Or you could use Knight, if that's what you got the most dice in. This does fall into questing type activities.
Yeah, I've got the most dice in Knight, so I think that.
Okay.
Oops, sorry, Katie, I didn't mean to elbow you in the head. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, okay, nice. So very quietly. And Lance, there's like a shutter through the thing right before you let go of it, and you fall, and you just fall and fall and fall and fall and fall and fall and fall, and smack into the ground. Now you're very, very well armored. Boom! You only lose one die of your Knight score for the moment because the wind is totally knocked out of you. And your butt plates and back plates are a little bit dented, flattened, but you live through it no problem. The problem is that loud clang when you land. Suddenly, Ryan, as you're unrolling the chain, you can hear, because you can't see you're back in the shadow behind the furnace, and you hear that loud clang, and then you hear, and you can hear the creaking of the giant's bones as he stands up. You do have it unwrapped, and you feel sudden heavy weight on it, Mador, that you realize is, the cage itself. Do you want to let it down quick or easy, or do you want to keep holding on to it for a second? You know that this giant hasn't seen you. You're hidden back here, and you haven't started really moving the chain yet. But he definitely knows Lance is here. Is there anything that you might want to do before... I don't know if there's not like a right answer. I just think you might be able to think of something that I can't. Because you have a feeling the knight's about to go out there and stomp on the guy you just swore friendship to.
Drop it on his head when he comes out to investigate.
Well, I think, in the heat of the moment, knowing that Lance has just fallen from the chain, I think what Mador would probably do would just realize, shit, cover's blown, he knows we're here, panic, unwrap as fast as possible, stop caring about being quiet.
Yeah, wrap. And you've already got it mostly unwrapped. Yeah, you already had it, you had quietly unwrapped it. And you're sitting there supporting the weight of the cage right now, holding on. If you let go, you can let it crash, or you can start hand over handing it, to where it lowers slowly, or you can keep it where it is so that the giant doesn't realize you're back here.
Well, I'm just going to hang on to it then for a second and try to get into a position where I can watch and wait till the giant's underneath it and then drop it on his head.
Well, it's hard to see out the doorway, but I don't see why you wouldn't kind of necessarily be able to. And of course, Lance is only about halfway across the room to where the cage is, but you get to the edge of where the shadow is, and again, I said it's kind of by the handle of that poker. It's kind of got like a little eye hole in the end, the poker, so you can hang it on a hook or something, so you can kind of see out through that, creating this little oval frame out the great double doors. And yeah, you see the giant stalking out there, and Lancelot, by the time you scramble to your feet, you look up, and this thing is huge. He's like 65 to 70 feet tall, and he goes, "I thought I smelt the blood of a Briton," and he snarls and he goes boom, 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 boom. He's running into the room right towards you, Lancelot. What do you do?
Well, I will try to scramble out of there? Like, is there any little crevices I can hide in?
No,
or
it's just a great big room. The closest place to hide is back in the furnace room, but that would mean running right towards him. And it looks like you got time to take a significant action before he's right on top of you.
I'll try to jump onto his shoe or his leg or something.
Okay. He comes running at you, and go ahead and make your night roll. He's going to roll his giant dice. He's all double pumped, as you can imagine, which means he'll start slowly losing dice the more he does stuff, but he's going to start off with a lot.
But my night is down to 1?
No, he's not down to 1. You just lost 1.
Oh,
you just lost 1 die from the fall. Anyway, he's going to roll his. I'm not going to lie to you. I just rolled 4 6s and a 3. That's a lot.
Well, I was going to argue maybe.
I got a 27 here. You can still argue for some tactic that can give you extra.
Well, I was going to
dice.
say maybe I roll on the hooligan cliche. Maybe because I've brawling and.
Yeah, it's kind of like dirty fighting. Knights don't necessarily do a lot of grabbing and, grappling and stuff. So I could totally see hooligan would be appropriate.
Okay. So in that case,
because you just could beat him, although his 4 6s are kind of scary.
So, if you lose a die in one cliche, does it transfer to the other? Okay.
No, you have only lost a die in night.
Alright, so I will roll hooligan, which is 5 dice. $19.
Well, that's a pretty good roll, but it's not enough to beat his, and he kicks you as you try to grab on. Because you were so close and coming at him from the side, he wasn't able to do it with like his full force, but you fly across the room and hit one of those columns, boom, fall to the ground. Now you lose a point of a die of hooligan. And he turns around to face you, and you won't take my pretty girl from me. And then, Mador, do you want to do anything in this moment? Which you can kind of see all this through the eye hook of that huge hot poker.
I'm just waiting for him to get under it so I can drop it on him.
Okay, it might be a while because, like I say, they were only about halfway across the room. But if you can manage to kick Lance over there,
well, I can. I'm going to try to run that way under it.
Okay.
Oh no, that's a little bit metagaming.
It is a little bit, but
yeah.
No, that's as good a plan as any for getting rid of him. So if you want to try to maneuver him in that direction, tell me how you want to do that. He looks like he's coming at you again, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he's just going to come at me, I'll just kind of run away from him and happen to run in the direction of the cage.
Okay, that don't mean kind of sidestepping and everything. I think hooligan might be the most appropriate for the game, but you can use either knight or hooligan. Unless you can somehow justify whoremonger, and the only reason, if you do ever use an inappropriate cliche to do something and manage to win, it's a much bigger result, but you have to be able to narrate it somehow entertainingly, and I don't know if you can think of anything that fast. But what are you going to roll, knight or hooligan?
I will do hooligan.
Okay. He's rolling. He's a die down because he's double pumped. I have a 13 here from him.
No, I only got a 9.
Oh, you won't trick me. Come here, you. He doesn't really know you're trying to trick him. Oh, you won't get away from me, you. I'll smash his. But he doesn't quite completely smash his. Again, it's another half kick, and you go boom. Luckily, you're being kicked in that direction, though, because you chose to move, so that was a good part of your plan. But your hooligan, did you say you used knight or hooligan?
Hooligan.
That hooligan is reduced by a further die now. But you go boom, boom, boom. You skidded to a stop almost directly underneath the cage. And he comes moving over to you. Oh, you won't take my little pretty. I'll smash you like a bug. You taunt him or speak to him in any way?
Yeah, I will definitely swearing. I don't know if I.
You can try to roll a swear like so vilely that he's enraged or something. I don't know. These are the kind of things you could do in the system. I mean, if you put swearing as one of your cliches, it means you're pretty fucking good at it, and you can use it to get some kind of effect.
Yeah, I will just do that.
Just like he might get so pissed he throws all caution to the wind or something. Yeah, I'd say it wouldn't be that hard to piss him off at this point either. You just need a 5. It's an easy thing to do. He's already mad at you.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely got it.
You little... And he rushes over in your direction. And,
fucking cunt.
And he just... Which is just the very last 2 bits of a long stream of profanity. And he... of course, he's down a die. And he's going to try to kick you. But, Mador, you can also... He's going to get that kick in, but if you let go now, he's kind of right under it.
Well, yeah, that's my cue to let go then.
Yeah, okay. And if you would like to try to defend yourself from this vicious incoming kick, let me know what you'd like to use. I think I'll reserve what he rolled until I know what you're going to use. But I just rolled for him.
Well, I will... I think they're both equal right now, so I will just use Knight.
Okay.
12.
And he only rolled an 8, so you dodge out of the way. And meanwhile, in that second, Mador unleashes the cage. And you're just like letting it fall, right?
Yeah.
And it goes, the girl who's in the cage screams at the top of her lungs, you know, and the cage crashes into the giant skull and he falls to the ground. Ooh. Dead. But the girl does get hurt, and she's cried out, and she's my ankle, and Lance, you see her kind of tumble out of the broken cage and land in a puddle of the blood that is slowly oozing out of the giant's ear from his semi-crushed skull from the heavy cage. I was kind of hoping you guys would stab it with the hot poker, but this is a good plan too. This is a good plan too. Yeah. But I think I said hot poker like 112 times in the last 17 minutes. But this is great because I didn't even think of dropping the cage, which is great. So
poker, I hardly know her.
Not that that's ever stopped you before. Well, I'm going to say that we're going to just see how you deal with this wounded and distraught princess next time. And then maybe you can get her back and see if you can use her to lull the Avanc to sleep. And we'll worry about that next time, though, here on Goonies World.
Bonsoir.